Diaper.
Nappy.
Pacifier.
Dummy. No, I think everyone agree that nappy and dummy are much better. I mean, they're a lot easier for kids to pronounce for one.
Why would a kid need to say...
You never know.
Well, the funny thing is, with pacifier, another term we call it is a binky. Where's your binky? It's like to say it to a little kid.
See, if you just had dummy, you wouldn't need to come up with a whole new word.
First floor.
Would say first floor.
What's this floor considered?
This is ground floor. That is first floor.
This would be considered first floor.
She's trying not to react too strongly. I know she secretly wants to hit me right now.
Actually, no. Ladybug.
The ladybird.
Line.
Just a Q.
Drunk.
Inebriated.
Not pissed. Or is pissed like a slang?
Pissed as well. That's a slang. It's not the proper word for it. We do have drunk as well. But we wouldn't use pissed in the way you would use it.
Yeah, when we refer to saying pissed, it's usually you're pissed off about something, which means you're mad. Friend.
Pal.
Why aren't you saying what I wanted you to say?
Buddy. Friend. Oh, friend! Mate! There's just so many words for the same thing.
I know.
And depending whereabouts in the UK you are, depends which one's common. Those guys at work will not stop saying pal.
Okay. The thing is, mate's the only thing, is something that we don't use.
See, it's a weird one, is mate, because it's also quite informal. You'll go in a shop and they'll be like, thanks, mate. Are you all right, mate? And it's like, you're not my mate. But it kind of... you wouldn't really say, hello, friend, in a shop.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit
Well,
medieval.
just like, oh, he's my mate,
yeah.
Like, oh, that's my friend so-and-so, or that's my mate, blah, blah, blah.
Buddy. Pal. Chum. Oh, Chum's the big one. Used to have a Saturday morning TV show and they used to do a Friends mock and they called it Chums.
Isn't there also a lollipop called...
That had Ant and Deckin, by the way.
Huh?
That had Ant and Deckin. That was like the breakout of their career.
But isn't there also a lollipop called Chum?
Chupa Chup.
Chub? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not to do with Chum.
Oh, okay.
That's Chuppa.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's another one. I think you said lollipop. What would you just say? Lolly, wouldn't you?
Lollipop's the hard-boiled one.
Yeah. Sucker's another one that we'd say. Yes.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
Devoed.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, good. I mean, Devoed's more of a teenage girl sort of one, I think. They're probably more hitting the 20s now, the girls that used to go, Devoed. I like to say it ironically.
So, use it in a baking term. That's the best way I can think of it.
That'll be why.
What?
Because you call your money quarter.
Yeah. I guess so. I don't know. Like, I'd say a fourth of a cup, whereas you'd say...
Quarter of a cup.
Yeah.
But I guess when you're so reliant on quarter for money.
Maybe. Plus...
Fourth's just really great. It's like, it's half and quarter, not half and fourth.
I think that was it. I just want to make sure.
I mean, why don't you call it half a tooth?
I don't.
I said, why don't you?
Oh, I'm like, I had to think about what you were saying. I don't know.
But yeah, we've gone from a lot of our words originate from France and they've become part of the English language. And now you're going to go and just like go, no, that's too complicated for us. We're going to simplify it and make it more proper.
Oh yeah, there's another one. I get confused with it. Like, okay, this says cookie, but you also say biscuit.
Well, that's because that's chocolate chip.
So, we just call it cookie, but what's the difference between a biscuit and a cookie?
A cookie's a type of biscuit.
Okay.
Seriously, it's just over here. A cookie is like it's generally got chocolate chips. It can be the really soft dough cookie, but you do get ones like that as well. Generally, it's just when it's got chocolate chips in it for the most part, I think.
Okay.
Get aisle.
No, I always wondered because it's like I remember I gave someone some cookies I made.
There was something I read once about a cookie goes hard. Oh no, it's cake goes hard.
Yeah, that had to do with Jaffa cake, wasn't it? No, it's just I remember there was somebody once I made some cookies and gave them to them, and I asked them what they thought, and they're like, "Oh, well, they were a bit hard," and it's like, well, yeah, they were meant to be. Oh, okay, well then they were brilliant, and it's because they thought of cookie as something soft.
The soft undercooked dough.
Yeah, which to me it doesn't matter. Cookie's a cookie is a cookie.
And that's the cooked version of that soft undercooked dough.
The funny thing is, they're not that soft, I'd say.
No, that's because they're meant to be crunchy. It doesn't make sense.
No.
And it doesn't have to make sense. All that matters is that our version's right.
Your version's confusing. Anyway. Right, so the next thing I want to move on to is spellings. Whereas a word that is spelt one way in the US could be spelt a different way in the UK. So the first one I have is the word center. In the US, it's spelled Center. Where?
I meant to say how it's spelled in the UK.
I don't know if you want.
Centre.
Yeah. And usually words that end in ER in the States, the general rule of thumb is it's RE in the UK.
Yeah.
I remember I found a website to actually explain some of this. This is why this is so short. And there's, the word tire actually, like if you were referring to a car tire, is TIRE.
Whereas over here it'd be TYRE.
And the reason is because you differentiate between a tire in a car and feeling tired, right?
I guess so.
That's what
it's the only thing I'd say a tire would be just that you're getting tired. Need a nap.
And then there's curb, which is
This is another one like that.
Yeah, CURB.
Is it KRB?
Yeah.
But again, curb is to rein something in.
Yes.
Curb your enthusiasm.
Yeah. Whereas you're referring to the curb in the road.
Yeah.
But we use the same spelling for either. Organize, which I'm not going to spell out the whole word, but
basically this is where in Scrabble a Z is worth a lot more in the English version than it is in the American version.
Oh, really?
Because there's so fewer words that use a Z over here.
See, I've never.
It's the top scoring letter.
I've never played Scrabble, so I never realized. But yeah, it ends in IZE.
Z.
Yeah, you say Z.
Z.
And whereas over here it'd be ISE, and usually any US words that go IZE would go to ISE. That was such a pain in the backside when I was doing my dissertation, because I had just come over here for a year to do my master's degree, and I'm writing out my dissertation, and I used a lot of organization.
And she didn't turn spell check on to English.
I didn't know I could. Or if I think I did, but it was still... I'd already did it midway through.
There's quite a lot of stuff over here where we're browsing things where it will flag things as wrong if you don't put the Z.
Yeah, now because I've lived over here and I'm using UK devices, this will flag any US words I put in. And same with the laptop. Then there's color, which is COLOR. However, you put OUR. Yeah, you had the U.
Color.
And that's when I think growing up, I remember it being, that was the French spelling of it. So if you went to, or the European spelling of it. So we knew it existed.
I'm going to say I know a lot of American spellings stem down to simplifying it for all the different immigrants.
Yeah, because then there's also honors the same way.
Yeah, because English is really not an easy language to learn. And I think I'm probably benefited having it as my first language because I now know all the weird quirks. It's such a, I can't say the word, but it begins with B.
Does it rhyme with which?
No.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know what you're referring to.
No, it's...
Oh, okay.
Such a that sort of language because we've been ruled by Norwegians, the Vikings, the French, the Romans, and all these little bits have all fed their way into how our language has come down through the years. Whereas in America, you kind of had people of all different languages, and so the simplification of the spellings just makes it a lot easier for you to pick up.
Yeah. In this one, I didn't really know if this was the best place for it because you pronounce it differently anyway over here, but aluminum.
Which is aluminium.
And that, I didn't even realize this, that it's actually, I realized it maybe after a few years. Yeah. It's spelt differently, that's why.
That's why, yeah. Homer Simpson used to be quite infamous over here for his aluminum.
And all it is, the difference is that it's IUM rather than UM.
I do believe looking at standardising that. And I think that's one where America's accepting as a standard that they will take aluminium. I don't know if that's just because it's a more common term for it around the world.
Maybe.
Apparently we have to accept some trade-offs as well, but...
and then catalog, over here it's OGUE, whereas we just have OG.
More French creeping in, I think.
Yeah. One thing I want to know is, like, gray.
Gray.
You have GRAY, and then
we have GREY.
And I said that you have JRAY and JREY. Oh my God. G, yes. Which I remember being confused about it when I was a kid because I knew of both spellings. Because I think even on like Crayola crayons it would go either way. I was just like, well, I'll just go with EY.
The easy way to remember is if you do it in English, it's E.
Or if you're in
American, it's A.
Yeah. Licorice.
Licorice.
But the spelling is, in the States, it's LIQORICE.
See, the weird thing is that's how I remember it being spelled. But I don't like licorice, so I don't know if it's just what I'm imagining.
See, and I can't help but think, which one do I... See, I think it was that one.
That seems more like how America would spell it to me.
I know, that's why I get confused with it, because it's like, I get autocorrected to that one, I think. And I'm like, that doesn't look right. But it did take me a while to realize that they're spelled differently.
Put a nice picture of some Bassett's licorice all sorts on here, and that will confirm it.
And then the word check.
Check.
You spell it
CHEQUE.
QUE, yeah.
Because that's to check on something.
Do you know?
Check
what
on
about
you all right? Oh yeah, check off a list.
Whereas the QUE is to write a check.
Again, more France creep, I think.
It also, it's very obscure now to write checks these days. Checks are not very common.
We still have them.
We
were meant to get rid of them, but the old people rebelled. And that's not even a joke. They got their way.
Well, they don't get their way with a lot of things, so I can understand that. Right, so next thing we're going to move on to is pronouncing words, where I'll say a word.
She will say it wrong, and then I will say it right.
Right. It's spelled
I think you agree with some of that, actually.
Yeah. Well, the first one I do agree with, but it's like they're spelled exactly the same, but pronounced differently. Herb.
Herb. I have to really try on that, though.
Yeah, with your H's. But the thing is, growing up, I always said herb because there's an H in it, and as far like I don't know of any American word beyond that one where the H is silent. And I remember people being like, no, it's herb. So when I found out that you guys call it herb over here, it was like, yes, I'm right.
Is that the French going the other way?
Where
Because they would say herbs and spices.
Yeah, I think it's based off of the French.
That's one thing I will say for a lot of these. The pronunciation in America is how another language would pronounce it in Europe.
Mocha.
Mocha.
And you would not believe the amount of people that get confused by me saying mocha.
Given how much I get confused by a lot of things you say, I kind of could.
But it's not that differently said. It's just how it's slightly...
I think it's more how you expect it to be pronounced. It can catch you off guard with a different pronunciation.
Okay, because people will be like, oh, you mean maca? And it's like, no, I mean mocha.
That's something that surprises me over here, because particularly in shops and play, it'd be very rare normally for somebody to correct your pronunciation of something, unless you're in an Italian restaurant and they're just winding you up.
We were at the farm shop cafe, and they were like, because they were really confused. I think it's because they're probably really Yorkshire, so that's another thing. So the end of the alphabet is Z.
Z.
So I would say zebra.
It's a zebra.
There you go. I remember that blew my mind.
You don't say ZU, do you? I'm going to go to the ZU.
Go to the zoo.
Go to the zoo.
Oh, so that's the thing. That's weird.
It's because the E in zebra comes from the E in zebra. Because Z just pronounces Z sound in the word. Unless you're American, in which case it produces a Z.
Pecan. Or did I just say it the other way?
You just kind of said it our way.
Pecan, sorry.
Pecan. Yeah, pecan nuts.
That said, in the States it can be pecan or pecan, but it's like you always like to make fun of
Don't
me.
say pecan in a cafe or something here though for a pie, because they'll just be like, eh?
Yeah, because I remember I was getting the pecan pie coffee, and the guy's like, oh, you mean pecan? I know where you're from.
Yeah, and that's one where it's not correcting you to be rude or like anything. He literally is just, we're like, what?
Yeah. Basil.
So it's Basil. Was a great mouse detective.
Oregano.
Oregano.
Vitamin. Mobile.
You just done the English one again.
Have I done it?
You see, the English is taking over now.
Yeah.
You mean mobile.
Mobile, okay. Privacy.
You're just doing the English one again. You mean privacy.
No, we say privacy.
We say privacy.
Over here, I've heard privacy.
No, it's just people being posh.
Yeah, I guess that's just down south then. Garage.
Garage. Horrible, horrible genre of music.